Hello, friends. It's Tracy from Country Charm by Tracy. Today I'm sharing the Autumn Harvest Pallet Sign DIY kit from the Rust Covered Cottage by Christina. I also have a bonus, guys, because I'm going to share how I created the bow because that is a requested item that I get when I share different projects that I do that I have those rustic bows. So at the end of the video, I will share how I did that. All right, so for the actual rustic sign, now this sign measures 14 inches tall by 8 inches wide. It's cut from 1/4 of an inch birch wood, meaning it's a very lightweight, which it will not take up a lot of space. Also, it will not be very heavy. And it includes the autumn and the harvest script accents. It has layered pumpkin, sunflower birds, and leaf details. It comes unfinished, just like you see here, so it's ready to paint, stain, or distress, however you want to do it. It also has pre-cut holes at the top, and I'll share what I used to create the hanger at the top. All right, so then what I'm doing is I gave it a coat of the antique wax. Now, this antique wax I got from Amazon. I'll have a link for it in the description if that's something you're interested in. I just like the kind of like the darkness that it gives for my projects. And so then for the pumpkin, I'm just going to be kind of doing the distress method with the wax candle. And with this stain, this antique wax stain like this, I find that I get a better distressing when I use my sander, my little gator sander, little handheld sander. I get a little bit more of the kind of like the distress look that I like versus the paint scraper that I get when I use something a little bit different, like on thicker wood. That's where, so these laser kits are cut from 1/4 of an inch of birch wood. So it's a little bit thinner. So I find the distressing is a little bit easier for me just using my sander. I'll also give everything just a little bit of rub with my dark wax by Kills. I also have a link for that in the description box. I use a wet baby wipe to kind of spread the grunge around or the distressing around a little bit, and it just kind of adds as the shading for my project. And another thing that I like about the DIY wood kits from the Rust Covered Cottage by Christina is that they are laser cut, and they also have like the engraving or the etching in it so that I know exactly where to put my pieces. And so it makes it super simple when I'm ready to glue the things down. And so just by doing several of these DIY wood kits, I have found that I really like the stain, or if I have a lighter color so that I can see the lines through it. Now, if I don't, I can always use a pencil. I can use like a stylus or something that has a hook on it to kind of, etch out a little bit of that paint, or a friction pen, which is an erasable ink pen that you just dry just with your heat tool, just kind of heat it up a little bit and it erases. And so those are my kind of my go-tos for if I need to draw some lines, if I kind of paint it up and cover it up. So as an added bonus here for my DIY woodcut tutorial, now I'm going to share how I make my rustic bows. Now this is a bow dabra. I got it from Amazon. And so what I have is just strips of fabric like homespun fabric or just muslin fabric. You can get homespun at jubileefabric.com online, or you can find it at Hobby Lobby or maybe other fabric stores if you have it in your area. And so I just rip strips of that so that I get the ragged edges on the ends of it or the edges of it. And so then I also like to add some sisal grass. I get that from Amazon. I'll have a link for that in the description box below as well. It just adds that wispiness to it, that little airiness to my bow. And then also what I'm using here, this is a table runner that you can find in the wedding section at Hobby Lobby. And I think it's the ivory one. And so what I did is I just cut strips of it. It doesn't tear very well, so I just cut it with my scissors. And then I just use my vintage photo distress ink just to give it a little bit of distressing. And then I just put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I pull it out and use it in my bows to add as cheesecloth, kind of like that airy look for that. And so then I'm just using some jute just to tie everything off just like that. And so I cut off the tails so that it wouldn't be so long. And then the sunflower on the kit kind of showed to go in the center of that, but I'm going to put it there at the bottom. So what I'm using here, this is just some garland that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to use that just for kind of like leaves or tendrils for my pumpkin. And so it's wired, and so I just kind of curled it around my finger and then just attach my bow there to that, and then attach my greenery. And then I have a homespun bow that I just kind of like a shoestring bow, just tied it 2 loops. And so then I'm just going to glue that there to the middle, and then that is going to be the center of my pumpkin. Now, so for the sunflower, I just put it there at the bottom, and then just add a little bit of the detailing with my detailing paintbrush and all of that good stuff. Now for the hanger for my sign, I just use this 4-ply jute rope that I get from Hobby Lobby. I just tie pieces of that or just knot it through the hole. Just use a little bit of hot glue on the edge of the end of the jute and stick it through the hole. That works really, really good. And so I just tied it off, and I absolutely love the way that this palette sign turned out. I just love the rustic softness of it. And if you hadn't noticed yet, I didn't put any paint splatters on it. I don't know. I wasn't in the mood to paint splatter today. I know it's kind of weird, but I don't know. I'm surprised. Sometimes I like to do it and sometimes I don't. 99% of the time I do, but this time I didn't. Thanks so much for watching. All of the links and more information will be in the description box below. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.